Wait, don't actually tell me you thought I was going to be talking about how Piranha Plant was the hero of Bowser's Fury. Are you kidding? In the thumbnail itself, it said it was clickbait, you dummy. Basically, the point of this video is to hop on the hype train that is the Bowser's Fury trailer before it crashes and burns into an abyss of cool story, bro. Now, I won't lie to you guys, I've already seen this trailer about 5 or so times, but I'll do a reaction because I still get hyped every time I see it. Brief disclaimer about the gameplay you guys are going to be seeing in this video. My controller broke. Apparently right before we were playing, my B button was always in use. So that meant Mario, my character, was always ducking. I wanted to let you guys know this because, well, I suck at video games, don't get me wrong, I just don't suck that bad. Anyway, with all 50 seconds of that being said, let's finally move on to the trailer. Catch Luigi looking absolutely dead on the inside. There's the bell. That's gonna be important for later. Dude. Okay, for a DLC map, this just looks phenomenal, I have to say. The scenery is gorgeous, the landscape is phenomenal. I'm just really excited to go across this. This looks like a great place to explore. Just check out everything, you know? And there's so much to it, too. It looks great. I'm a big fan of this so far. I'm happy they brought back the ice skate boot. I thought that was a fun concept. Oh, dude, I'm so glad Bowser Jr. is in this. Hey, the true hero! And he's dead! Oh, Bowser Jr. is great. I'm really happy he's actually stepping up as more of a lead, prominent character in this, rather than just a minion. You can actually play as him. He's a co-op character in this. Oh, big boy coming up. Big boy. Okay. Catch Mario with those cats. Yo! That is sick. I'm a big fan of this design. Oh, dude. This is honestly what the fans need right here. This is what the fans need. This is the Bowser that Mario needs. And I'll explain why in a little bit, but for now, just take this in, man. This is beautiful. There's the bell. See, this is important, like I said. Tool for later. Also, just kill the fish. Bowser's sick, once again, absolutely sick, and this is the moment that every fan has been waiting for. Kaiju, Super Saiyan, Cat, Mario, because everyone wanted that, right? Or at least, you didn't know you wanted it. Bowser's Fury, this looks absolutely sick, available February 12th, 2021, so stay on the lookout there. Super excited, Nintendo. Man, I just gotta say, I am so hyped for this game. Nintendo did a phenomenal job setting it up with this trailer. Fans across the world are hyped, and for good reason. Yeah, definitely do expect some gameplay to come out of this channel for 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Both games look phenomenal. 3D World was a blast. When it was first announced, I thought Bowser's Fury was going to be some weird adventure with Meowser. I am so glad it wasn't that, because Meowser, if you remember that, I definitely do. Glad he is not a big part of this game. Bowser's Fury genuinely looks super great. I'm very excited to dive into this. Let's start with a setting of the game. Lake Lapcat, which is where all this takes place, looks gorgeous. Honestly, it looks so much fun. Like, it looks like a place anyone would want to visit for vacation. The islands look gorgeous. I'm so excited. Plessy comes back. I think its name is Plessy. Don't howl me in the comments if I'm wrong, because that very well might be. I don't know, but it just looks great. The waters look gorgeous. It gives me a vibe of like both Sunshine and Odyssey, which is great. I would never have expected this to be an additional package with 3D World. That's the thing. Obviously without the cats, because the cats are kind of the big giveaway, because 3D World loved cats. And that's, okay, here's my issue with Lake Lapcat in this trailer. One of the issues is that cats, man, they're everywhere. And I get it's called Lake Lapcat, but like, dude, they're everywhere. There's like, Mario had like 4 cats rubbing up against him, and I really hope that's not going to be a romantic thing. I doubt it's going to be, but like, it just looked a bit odd to me. That aside though, it still looks genuinely amazing. The island's gorgeous, it's a beautiful landscape, and one I'm very excited to explore and play through. I feel like now is a decent time to address what I'm kind of worried about with this trailer. Arlo did a great job in explaining this thought, but I am afraid that this is all there is. That the trailer basically explained the majority of what's going to be going down on this island, that they showed a little too much. Still, obviously, I'm so excited to play through it. I really hope I'm wrong. I really hope that there's more to it, but part of me feels like they kind of shot it all out there. Obviously, there's going to be some stuff we haven't seen, but like still, I feel like they shot a little too much out there. Other than that, and the fact that I don't think Bowser Jr. really gets wet after being submerged in water, I think the trailer looks phenomenal. I have little to no problems with it. Okay, now I want to talk about what I think the people really are shooting for here. Mega Fury Bowser. Everyone was so hyped when this was shown, and for good reason, dude. Mega Fury Bowser looks absolutely sick. Like, if you try to convince me otherwise, you're wrong. I'm sorry, you're wrong. He is a monster. This is absolutely what Nintendo needs. This is what Bowser should be. So here's my problem with Bowser over the years. He has grown to be a soft and weak character, in my opinion. Like, okay, he starts out as this dragon monster that kidnaps a princess. It starts a fun little adventure. There's little to no story, but still a really good time. He repeats that a couple different times, but eventually the stakes do rise. Take it, for instance, his appearance in 64. Though he stole Peach still, and it's kind of a similar thing, his appearances were so much more intimidating. He was jumping around, breaking the map that you were standing on. It was just phenomenal. It was a great thing, and that was a good moment for Bowser. Sunshine, still a great game. I love Sunshine with a lot of my heart. Bowser was kind of a weak character there as well, and it felt weird when the final fight with him he was in a bathtub, and I love how weird Sunshine is, but that was a little weird, man. That wasn't an intimidating Bowser moment. He was a bit carrying there as well. He let his fence down for Bowser Jr., which I understand completely. That's his kid, and I'm really happy Bowser Jr. is in the game. I love the relationship that Bowser Jr. has with his father, but here's the thing. I think Bowser has just become a weak character overall. Take him in Super Mario Galaxy. Dude, he was going to bring everything down. He had the power to do that. There was massive stakes there, but I feel like now he's just weaker, you know? He was an intimidating figure in the Mario Party franchise, and it's like, oh, you rolled on a Bowser space? You might lose everything. Now in Super Mario Party, I love the game, but, oh, dude, Bowser is just, he's a player, which I wouldn't be super opposed to, but it's just like, hey guys, I'm lonely, please play with me. I know I've kidnapped Princess Peach a couple times, tried to kill Mario numerous times, but can I be a part of your friend group? It's like, no, dude, why would you be a part of my friend group? Why would I want you here? You have tried to kill me so many times. Why am I just going to embrace you with open arms? I don't know. He's still a villain. It's just so weird. He's grown weaker, you know? And that's what I've noticed as a character. Like, how am I supposed to be intimidated by Bowser if I see him rage in Mario Party? Like, the dude isn't what he was, but Mega Fury Bowser is definitely a change in the right direction. A very good direction. This is where Bowser becomes a being of pure evil, pure hatred, pure rage, and I love that. And the reason I know that I can trust this version as the ultimate villain of the Mario franchise is because Bowser Jr. was afraid of him. Like, Bowser normally would never hurt Bowser Jr. Not for a second. But this is just a being of pure rage, and Bowser Jr. knows that. It went so far to the point where he reached out to Mario, one of his arch enemies, and was like, hey dude, can you help me out? I think it's sick. Okay, so the official name for the Bowser we saw in this video is Mega Fury Bowser. Sick name, but Japan's translation of that, like Japan's English translation, is God Slayer Bowser. That's what they call him down there, and I think that is so sick. It's just awesome. God Slayer Bowser, dude, that is such a sick name for that character, and it fits him perfectly. Man, imagine if we got a game about Meowser as Bowser's Fury instead of this. Imagine that, man. If we got Meowser instead of God Slayer Bowser. Dude, that would be such a downgrade. Okay, I know I've been freaking out about Bowser for a little while now, but I want to say that Bowser Jr. I'm so happy he is in Bowser's Fury. And here's my theory about Bowser Jr. in this. I think he caused Bowser to become this. And the reason I think this is because Bowser, well, you see when he was rocketing out from his little cocoon thing, rocketing up, he was spraying a geyser of black paint, and this trailer exclusively made sure to show Bowser Jr. using black paint on numerous occasions. I think this was Bowser Jr. He did this on accident and then reached out to Mario to help him fix it. But this is great, honestly. Like, Bowser Jr. is getting the attention he deserves for really the first time since Sunshine. Like, even though he's had those moments in, like, the Rabbids game with Mario, and he's had a couple other big moments, but, like, this is the biggest thing since Sunshine, basically. And oh, dude, I'm so happy he has his brush back. Okay, so I remembered another issue I had with the trailer. I'm pretty sure Mario is the only member of the original cast that can be playable. I think it's just him and Bowser Jr., which is sad because now I don't get to see Toad take on Mega Fury Bowser as a Super Saiyan Kaiju cat. And that's kind of disappointing, you know? I just want to beat Bowser as Toad. Is that such a bad thing to ask? Is that such a bad thing to ask, to be Super Saiyan Toad? I mean, that's just me. Whatever, though. I guess a decent trade-off for that is the fact that I haven't seen a ton of Mega Fury Bowsette art, which is really nice because I think that's a weird thing, you know? I'm a weird guy, but Bowsette, that's just weird for even me, man. That's weird stuff. Think about what Bowser Jr. thinks of that, man. Think about what Bowser Jr. thinks about his dad being Bowsette on the internet. You know, that's gotta suck for the little guy, and I'm happy people aren't doing that, and I like to think it's because it's for Bowser Jr.'s sake. Back to the topic at hand, and away from Bowsette, because we really don't need that. I'm so happy that Bowser Jr. is back in the game, you know? He's such a good character, such a pure character, that I'm so happy is in the Mario franchise. As a prominent figure, once again, I really hope they keep using him. You know, in Odyssey, they didn't even use the character at all, which is kind of whacked me, especially since it's about Bowser's wedding. That's the goal of it. I mean, Bowser Jr. wasn't even there. He wasn't even like a petal boy, a flower boy, you know? That would have been interesting to see. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. I think there is something really cool that can be had with this exchange. I think Bowser Jr. could have his own arc. He could be a bit better of a character after this game is over, maybe a bit more on the light side of things. But I think there is more that this character can go in. So now I want to talk about where they can go from here with all of this. I think Bowser Jr. can honestly be a starring role in a game. Like, not as a villain, but as, like, a protagonist. And I think it should be a team-up between Bowser Jr. and Peach. I know Mario and Bowser Jr. have kind of been building up a nice frenemy-ship over the years, which has been nice. It's been cool. But I think a Peach and Bowser Jr. game would be so nice. Peach can be like the maternal figure Bowser Jr. never really had. And he's always kind of wanted. He loves his dad, but he's never really had a mother figure. And I think Peach can be a great one for that. Peach is just a kind and caring character, and I think it can work so well with Bowser Jr. I think the premise of the game could be like, maybe Bowser Jr. does something similar to this, where he recreates, like, Mega Fury Bowser with his paint, and so he goes to recruit Mario, maybe, or he's looking for help, but Mega Fury Bowser maybe kidnaps Mario and takes him away, leaving Peach and Bowser Jr. team up. And obviously Mega Fury Bowser's obviously taking Mario because that's the biggest threat. Mega Fury Bowser was already beaten once by Mario, and that's going to be taking place in Bowser's Fury, so it makes sense to go after the guy who beat him. So he takes Mario, and so Bowser Jr. and Peach can work together in a game, and I think that could be so cool. The premise can maybe different paints can symbolize different things, like different emotions in the emotional spectrum. Like, for example, the black paint could be rage because that's what brought out the rage and hatred of Mega Fury Bowser. So I think maybe some other colors can represent different things and bring more life to certain things. Like, Bowser Jr. and Peach can both go throughout the land, and it could be like an Odyssey and Super Mario Sunshine kind of vibe. Because I think that would be really good if they had, like, a massive open world, but, like, tropical settings. So maybe not just one area, but, like, a couple different areas that they go to. And then they finally take on Mega Fury Bowser, the two of them, with their paint accessories. I think Peach can use, like, you know those paper fans? I think that Peach can use, like, fan brushes. Two of them, one for each hand, that are similar to those. So they can make, like, swift and quick strikes, while Bowser Jr. makes harder hitting but slower strikes with his paintbrush. Because obviously that's gotta be used. And maybe like mini antagonists, they don't even have to be Goombas or anything unless the Goombas are covered in this black paint that fills you with rage. it could actually be the black paint itself spawning numerous enemies of itself, because you've seen Sunshine. You see in Sunshine that paint can create enemies. It can create monsters. So I don't see why the same concept can't be reused. I think that would be such a fun game to go over, you know? And even, like, maybe EGAD can make the paintbrushes for Peach, which could be another throwback to Sunshine, or the classic GameCube era of games with Luigi's Mansion and everything. And I think it could just be really cool to see. And I think a relationship, obviously maternal and childlike, between Peach and Bowser Jr. could be something really cool in the games. Nintendo, if you need someone to step up and make these games for you, if you are one of my 30 subscribers by this point, please let me know. I would love to write this game for you, honestly. I feel like it'd be so much fun. Peach and Bowser Jr. going on this epic adventure through these tropical lands, Dude, they could have a story. I don't think it should just be like, they go around, they play the game. There should be a story to it as well. There should be some heart put in. And I think by the end of it, Bowser Jr. can maybe not be a hero, but I think he could be, like, not a complete villain. Maybe when Bowser kidnaps Peach in other games, Bowser Jr. can, like, play patty cake with her or something. Or, like, maybe the post-game is Bowser kidnaps Peach and Bowser Jr. breaks her out and they go on some post-game adventure. I think that could be kind of fun. Like, he's kind of a thorn in his dad's side in the sense that he takes away what he stole. But I think it could be fun, you know? I think the two of them could be a great pairing. And I really would love Nintendo using the both of them. Because, well, okay, so Peach hasn't had her own solo game since, like, 2005. I looked it up. It was Super Princess Peach on the Nintendo DS. Also, okay, so I looked up Peach and Bowser Jr. for this video. And, dude, I got a ton of ads on YouTube afterwards to buy, like, Princess Peach cosplay dresses, and I'm like, dude, no, I don't want to buy a Princess Peach dress. That will not look good for my butt. I am not for it, man. I am not for it. You do you. If you guys want to buy Princess Peach cosplay dresses, you do that. It wasn't just, like, one time, though. YouTube was like, you really want to buy a Princess Peach dress. I'm like, dude, I looked her up one time for a video. Like, I don't know why this is constantly being thrown at me here. Like, I don't want a Princess Peach dress. I would maybe want one of the masks that Bowser Jr. has, because I think those are really cool. But I don't really want a Princess Peach dress. And, like, from there, my merch, like, my ads were filled with Princess Peach stuff. For, like, the smaller ones where it's like, okay, buy this, suggested products for you. It was all Peach stuff. I'm like, dude, I looked her up, like, one time, and now it's everywhere for me. It was just whack. But I think from there, I think Nintendo can do a lot. With Peach and Bowser Jr., like I said, I wasn't the original one to come up with this concept, but once I saw it, I was like, hey, this is awesome. And so I think it can be a really cool thing that Nintendo can explore. I really hope they do so at some point, because I think it would be a really fun game series. I would play it. It can really develop both the character of Peach and Bowser Jr., which the fans would love. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for me today. I know I've talked for a little while. I was talking for a lot longer than I thought I would be talking. But if you guys want to see more of me doing this, let me know down in the comment section below, because this was kind of fun. I just don't want more Peach apparel in my ad section for YouTube, because that was kind of rough. I saw a Princess Peach dress as an ad. It's like, buy this. You want to buy this. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't want to buy a cosplay outfit for Princess Peach, you know? Call me whack, but I don't want it. Thank you, though, Nintendo.